Friday. Forecast.
This is where I make my surge again.
This is the third leg of the season, pretty much. We've had the first part and the middle part. We are separated, we think, by about one pick. We're both 2-2 last week. This is where the wheat separates from the chaff. What is chaff, by the way?
I don't know. You come up with all these sayings, man. I just trust you know what you mean.
They're old ones, but
it's next to the loins. I think.
It's easy on the loin stuff. It's separation weekend. I think this is 1 week. One of us is going to do real good. One of us is going to do real bad.
Okay.
So I think we're going to disagree on a lot of games.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to do really well.
All right, let's start with your favorite team, the Washington State Cougars.
They are my favorite.
You've been uncannily unpredictable in trying to predict the Cougars. It's been hard to anyway, though.
Can't do it.
Although nobody thought they'd do what they did against Arizona State last week, and it was awfully impressive what that young quarterback did.
Yeah. Yes, and they're playing who?
They're playing Utah in a pretty important game for Utah. Utah is actually, along with UCLA, believe it or not, and Arizona State, still alive in the battle to go to the Pac-12 championship game.
So they're at
Utah. They're at Washington State, and Utah's a 3.5-point favorite.
I'm going to take Utah.
Just because?
Just because it's the Cougs, and they've screwed me all season long, and part of me is hoping they lose.
At least he's honest, folks. At least he's honest.
Go Utes!
I actually like the Cougs. I think the new quarterback is, in fact, for real.
You think he's going to pull it off again? I'm going to say he's not going to be that guy again.
I don't think he can throw for 500 yards again,
well, no,
but he looked like the real deal to me.
Yeah.
I think they got a little momentum out of it. And you're right, though. Picking it as throwing darts, Washington State's been impossible to figure out. All right, Huskies is an interesting one, too. They're at Oregon State. Mm-hmm. They're a 2.5-point favorite, meaning the Huskies are a 2.5-point favorite on the road at Oregon State.
Well, we've been talking about them all week. I think Oregon State is a bad team. I know it's in the conference. I know it's on the road, and I know Nick Montana gets his first start, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop Chris Polk. I think they're going to have their way with a bad defense. They're not good offensively, talking about Oregon State. So I just think this sets up for a nice day for Polk. I think it's a nice day for the Huskies, and I think it's a very easy spread for them to cover, so I'll take the Huskies.
Even though I don't feel very confident about it, in an effort to make this separation weekend, I'll take Oregon State in that I think maybe they'll lose by a point.
Okay. So you're picking the Huskies?
I think the Huskies probably win the game. I think it's going to probably be an ugly game. It's a nasty situation down there at Oregon State usually. It's a tough place for Washington to play. It always is. And it's going to be a crappy day down there. You can guarantee that, I think. All right, Seahawks. Seahawks football Sunday. They are playing in St. Louis against the mighty St. Louis Rams. The Rams, Bob, are 2.5-point favorites.
Take the road dogs. Take the Seahawks. Despite them being on the road again in the division, the Rams have got issues. They've had them all year. They're 2-7. And I think they're probably a better team than that. Than everybody expected them to be better than that. But as we're just hearing, Roger Saffold, their left tackle is now hurt. Smith, their right tackle, is hurt. I think they've had trouble all year protecting Sam Bradford. They've got one weapon as far as a receiver goes in Brandon Lloyd, but I don't know if he's going to have the time to find him, so you're going to see a lot of Steven Jackson. And the Rams don't stop the run very well. So I don't know that the Seahawks are going to need Tavares Jackson to do anything other than manage the game, hand the ball off, probably going to be able to run, so I will take the Seahawks in the points.
I guess in thinking about it more than anything, I think this is going to be a Cleveland-like ugly game. I just have a sense that both teams are going to struggle mightily. Part of it is that they know each other because they're division rivals. Absolutely, the injury part of it is big. And I think it's especially big to teams, especially late in the year when guys get hurt during the week. It really does set teams back, I think, in a big way. And I think it's going to be a big problem for the Seahawks, as we all did, but in particular losing Carpenter during the week. Rams, same thing, though. I mean, just all the stuff you said is correct. I think that I'm going to agree with you on this one. I mean, the Dare to Dream Express still rides. Yeah. I think the Seahawks win it. I think they cover, but I think it's ugly.
Not a big
ugly, low-scoring game.
Well, they're getting points, right?
Yeah, they're getting two. They're actually getting 2.5 points. Right?
Okay.
And lastly, the undefeated Green Bay Packers take on the other Bay team.
Okay.
There's only one other Bay team in there. Yes,
yeah, Tampa Bay.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the disappointing Josh Freeman-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are going to try and stop the Packers. They are a 14-point underdog.
I'm going to say that the Packers are going to cover it.
Okay.
How about that? That's the best offense I've seen since the Colts were really hitting their stride, and before that, the Rams with the greatest show on turf. This team, to me, offensively looks like a team that has an extra man on the field. There's always somebody who looks wide open.
Aaron Rodgers is so good, it's ridiculous.
He's filthy. He's filthy, and he finds you no matter who it is. Doesn't matter if it's Donald Driver or Greg Jennings or Jermichael Finley, Jordy Nelson. Doesn't matter. He's got so many weapons that he finds, and he's able to check down. His offensive line gives him the time to sit there and pick apart his secondary. And the Buccaneers have been a massive disappointment. Freeman has struggled, and some think he's been hiding an injury. I don't know what the story is, but they're not the team anybody expected them to be. And I think the Packers are just set to steamroll them. So I will take the Packers giving up the points.
Bob, the Dare to Dream Express is thinking about making a trip to Green Bay. It's the same illogic that I used for the Seahawks last year. I mean, Green Bay, they've got to eventually lay an egg. They've got to eventually play an off game. I keep thinking of Raheem Morris last year, the coach of Tampa, and just watched him on the sidelines, motivating guys. I was really impressed by the behind-the-scenes stuff with him. The Tampa Bay's not playing well. The year has been very disappointing statistically. Like I think everyone is with the Packers, this is a terrible matchup for them. 14 points is probably reasonable in this case, but I think Tampa's got a chance to stay with them. I really thought the Chargers had a better chance than they did last week, so I'm going to take the points in Tampa here.
But you don't think they're going to win?
I think they might throw a real scare in them. No, I'm not going to. I'm not calling for the win. It's not Dare to Dream that much, but I think they might throw a real scare.
You're dreaming of a cover.
The Dare to Cover Express.